Government and public sector organizations face unique challenges to accomplish complex missions with limited resources. While federal agencies have made notable progress in adopting cloud technologies, there are a variety of practices that could help agencies capitalize on the cloud faster. I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and joining us to talk about that today are Hiram Perez, Senior Partner Development Manager at AWS, and Kevin Aylward, Partner at IBM Consulting. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Wyatt. Glad to be here.
Thank you, Wyatt.
Kevin, I'd like to start with you. IBM has helped a long list of agencies move their data and applications to the cloud. What practices have made the biggest impact in helping agencies move to the cloud faster or more productively?
Yeah, thanks. I think the systematic approach to migration to the cloud. We're almost a decade into cloud computing now, and we're not really doing the one-offs anymore. We're taking a more holistic approach. And some of the things IBM has done is classified and sorted things by journeys of the various types of applications. Federal agencies have a very large landscape, sometimes tens of thousands of applications to move. So you really need treatment patterns and all that kind of rigor around classifications and automation in your migrations.
Well, it certainly is a massive landscape to consider. But can you maybe highlight a couple of examples of where and how those practices that you're talking about have made a meaningful difference to federal agencies attempting to migrate more of their work into the cloud?
Yeah, so several agencies have taken the approach of kind of building kind of platform capabilities that embrace the open architectures that both AWS and IBM support, and become kind of a de facto platform for building new cloud scale applications on. So that is one pattern we see quite a bit of. And then another is landscapes of like applications that have built landing zones and use automated tooling to really, what we've seen in practice, drive up to 30 to 40% of costs out of operations.
And then, Hiram, I'd love to hear from you a little as well. I know AWS, of course, has helped also a long list of agencies move their data and applications to the cloud. What additional practices have you seen that have really made a meaningful impact in helping agencies move to the cloud faster?
Wyatt, thank you very much for that question. So what I like to tell the agencies, number one, make sure that you inform yourself before you go into doing any type of major transformation. These things are large and can be very complex. So before you make a decision of something that you want to do, take some time to really understand the information out there. And what I like to suggest to the agencies that they do is use the RFI process. I think it's a great ability that agencies have to use the RFIs, request for information, to find out exactly what's going out there into the industry. Ask the companies, how do they do things? What are some of their best processes? And then that way you inform yourself on what is possible for you to be able to do. And then once you've gone through that, make sure that you identify a set methodology. A methodology is nothing more than a clear-cut path for you to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. And there's very good methodologies out there. IBM has some excellent methodologies that you can use that will get you to your final destination. And these have been, tested. And then finally, make sure that you use a good system integrator. In reality, federal agencies will probably go through a major transformation, maybe only a handful of times. SIs, systems integrators, they do this all the time, and they know the good, the bad, the ups and downs. Take advantage of utilizing a system integrator like IBM in order to be successful. And I think that those are very good recommendations to ensure success for your transformation project.
Absolutely. Well, Kevin, back to you. What would you say is different about cloud migrations for federal agencies today compared to a couple of years ago, let's say? And What recommendations would you offer to help agencies accelerate their efforts now going forward?
Yeah, thanks. So I think because a lot of agencies have really looked, across a wide landscape for lessons, and picking up on some of what Hiram said, more and more we see commercial applicability of what commercial firms are doing and how they're transforming, that really government agencies can do the same thing. As we talked about a little bit earlier, starting with a collection like the IBM Cloud accelerators, where you have a large classification of kind of, apps and patterns for treatments is a good first step, but also amplifying what Hiram was saying, really developing a cloud technical operating model, right? How I'm going to operate this in the cloud. Because as you start getting into redeveloping applications, SREs, all of these new terminologies are things that the government agencies really have to sort of remake themselves, for day two operations, right?
And Hiram, I just asked the same question of you. What's different from a couple of years ago, and what would you recommend agencies consider doing going forward?
So yeah, so many things change so fast in IT. So many things change very quickly. So my suggestion would be, with that in mind, that things change very differently, and we have things that are new. It seems like almost every quarter at least. Is make sure that you think about culture change within your organization. Make sure that you have people who have been trained in the latest, the latest methodologies, the latest processes, the latest capabilities. So whenever that SI is done working with you and the migration has been completed, you're not left in a lurch, right? You have invested the time and the effort to train your people to understand the technology, and you have created a cloud center of excellence or something similar to that. So whenever the SI terminates the work for you, you have all of the skills, all of the knowledge that you're going to need to be able to move forward and be successful. That would be my final suggestion for the agencies, so they can be successful for the long term.
Lastly, gentlemen, I'm intrigued. IBM and AWS, in some regards, could be seen as competitors, and yet here you are working together and helping federal agencies advance their work. Talk to me a little bit about the advantages for IBM, let's say, of working with AWS, and then Hiram, I'd love to hear your view as well. Kevin?
Yeah, so we just got back from Amazon's annual reInvent conference in Las Vegas. IBM won the Global Innovation of the Year partner. That's a big change for us, right? This is, the company is rebranded over time. We've executed a lot of changes, and it's really ecosystem centric, consulting firm at this point. With the purchase of Red Hat, we've push that out. And a lot of really cool things that IBM is doing now are really focused on AWS. So there's mainframe modernization and integration with AWS. There have been major announcements about that. Almost, a large percentage of IBM proprietary software is now available in the AWS marketplace. And we have, 16 or 18,000, I forget what the number is today. It's an ever increasing number of AWS certified consultants around the globe. So it's a real radical change at IBM, and it's been noticed from the CEOs of both companies on down, and it's really how we're driving. It's all about client focus, right? And if you know anything of Amazon, right, that is totally in lockstep with their ethos. Hiram?
Yeah, thank you, Kevin, and very well stated. I mean, IBM has been helping companies transform and implement technology for over 100 years now. They know technology better than anybody else, and they have helped, if not thousands, 10,000s of organizations, both in the government and in the commercial sector and globally, to adopt new technologies. So the wealth of knowledge, ability, and skill that IBM brings forward is without par. And then you combine that capability with the cloud service provider that AWS is. We're the primary cloud provider out there in the world. So in reality, this combination to me is the winning combination of the top organizations globally providing IT transformation services and cloud services. A winning combination.
Certainly sounds like it. Well, thank you both, Hiram and Kevin, for joining us today and sharing your respective perspectives on migrating to the cloud and how federal agencies in particular can really benefit from that. So thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you, Wyatt.